I grew my small business from 0 to 6 figures by just winging it. Let's talk about it. Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Jessica and I am the owner of the small business Cheery Corner. And here on this channel, I post a lot of behind the scenes videos on my day-to-day running my small business, how I run my business, and they're in the form of studio vlogs. So feel free to check those out. But today's video is gonna be a little bit different and I'm gonna explain how I've been running my business by just winging it and it's worked for me and how you can do the same. Now, originally I wanted to make a video that was more like how to start a business, how to grow your business. And I just felt like I didn't have the answers and I never really had a strategy and that I was just winging it. And that is half true because I could definitely go back and see that I did develop strategies along the way. I learned a lot of different things and I can kind of gather that and share it with you. But at the same time, I did just wing it. So I want to provide all of that information to you. What I did that worked for me and how I did it without a plan and why I feel like you also can do it without a plan and you don't need to watch a ton of videos to just go for it and start your business because there's going to be so much learning along the way. And honestly, in my opinion, if you are watching a ton of videos on how to start your business and just informational videos, I guess I can't speak for everyone, but for me, that would intimidate me and start to make me doubt myself and if I can really do it before I've even begun. So if you're starting to get in that headspace, let me try to pull you out of it because you got this. You can do it. If I can do it, you can do it. And you don't need to overwhelm yourself with all these how-to videos, which is kind of ironic because I'm also making a how-to video, but it's a little bit different. So with all of that said, this is how I grew my small business to 6 figures by just winging it. So I started my small business, Cheery Corner, in January of 2021. So it's officially 4 years old. I'm filming this in January of 2025. And throughout those 4 years, I've really shifted my energy and focus to focus more on products that take me less time to make and have a higher profit margin. And that's where I feel like I found a lot of success with being able to financially support myself and my business with the products I sell. So we'll get there and I'll explain how I ended up getting to that point because I didn't start with manufactured goods and I still don't only sell manufactured goods, but my top selling products are manufactured. So let me take you back to the beginning, January of 2021. I knew I wanted a business and I was really inspired by a lot of other small businesses that I was seeing on Instagram, and I decided I wanted to start by making stickers. So I was designing my own stickers and I started making them. I just had a printer and I don't even know if I had a Cricut at that time. I think I was cutting them by hand. And I knew I needed a way to market the stickers and get people's eyes on them. So I took to TikTok. The reason I went to TikTok first is because I had already grown an account on TikTok to 100,000 followers. It was a tap dance account. And so I knew that TikTok was an easy-ish platform to grow. So I went on TikTok, I started posting videos about my stickers. They didn't really get many views or any traction, but then I started designing custom stickers. Well, I didn't really have any customers to actually make a custom sticker for, so I would do custom stickers of popular creators on TikTok as well as friends and family and use the footage of me designing them and making them for TikToks. And one of those videos ended up going viral and I got about 200 custom orders from that one video. And I then made an Instagram. I don't know at what point I had an Instagram. I might have made it when I made the TikTok, but a lot of people from TikTok followed me over on Instagram. So that one video alone got me a foundation of followers on TikTok and Instagram. I think I had 1,000 followers on Instagram from that and then a few thousand on TikTok. And I must say, it took me quite some time to get through 200 custom orders. It took me months because it was all designing it by hand and making it in-house, but it was the time of my life. I was so excited. And at that point, I was using DMs and then I switched over to Google Sheets to take orders. So I had like nothing really in place. So right off the bat, I was just winging it. I didn't have an Etsy shop. I didn't have a website. I didn't have a website until I think last year. I've just been on Etsy for a long time. But yeah, even starting out, it wasn't like I had some big plan. I was just winging it. I was just making some stickers, seeing if I could promote them and if any of those videos would catch on, and luckily one did. And then from there I had to further develop how I was gonna sell them, and I eventually opened an Etsy shop. And when it comes to social media, throughout the 4 years, I've just been playing around with what social media I enjoy actually posting on and making content for, but more importantly, what social media platform my target market is on and works well for my business. What social media platforms am I able to get the most views on my videos, the most engagement? And for me, that's been Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Facebook I tried out, it didn't really stick. Lemon8 I tried out, didn't really stick. Threads I haven't been able to really get on and stay consistent on there. So definitely try out different platforms for social media, see what you like, what's working for your business, what demographic is using the social media platforms, and if it aligns with the demographic you're trying to sell to. Facebook, it's usually an older demographic, and I'm trying to sell to a younger demographic, so that's another reason I'm primarily on TikTok and Instagram. And I want to talk a little bit more about how I got my business out there. So like I said, social media was where I started, and that was really big for me, and I knew that I wanted an online presence with my business. I didn't want to just sell in person. In fact, I didn't know it was even really possible or easy to sell in person. So my fiance Sean and I used to spend our summers living in California with his parents. He's from California. I think it was the summer of 2022. We went to a craft market. His friend actually took us to a craft fair, and I didn't really even know craft fairs were a thing. And I was like, whoa, this is so cool. Maybe I can like sell at one of these. So I applied for one out in California. I got in, and I actually did a couple craft fairs that summer with very limited supplies because we weren't full-time living in California, so I didn't want to buy a bunch of things. So I used, I think, a table that his parents had. I got some like spice racks off of Amazon to put some of my products on them. At the time I was selling only punch needle goods and stickers, so handmade punch needle like coasters. It was truly just winging it, and it's like laughable, but also we all start somewhere. But once we moved back to the East Coast, I was able to invest in more supplies for pop-ups and build my booth to how I wanted it to look. That was a big learning experience on its own. I had to actually attend the markets to see what was gonna work for me and my products and the customers. And there are a lot of how-to videos out there on markets, but at the time I didn't really know that there was. I didn't try to research it in that way. I just kind of did my own research by going to the markets and learning what would be best for my business. And markets are so great too because you get market research about your demographic, what people are saying about your products. You get feedback right there, and it's very honest feedback because a lot of it is people talking to each other and you're just overhearing what they're saying. So, you know, they're being honest. You just get real raw feedback on your goods and products and your display. Even if it's something small, like maybe you have a sign and someone's like, oh, I didn't see that. I didn't see the pricing. Maybe you need bigger signage, something like that. So markets are great. They're a great learning experience, and it also can translate to online. So if you can learn, you know, the types of people that are buying your products in person, you can then tailor your marketing to those types of people online. So then when it comes to posting on social media, there's been a lot of winging it when it comes to that as well. So on YouTube, I had been posting about my travels. I think I started that in 2019 or 2020. I started on YouTube, and I wasn't really getting many views on my channel. The videos were definitely cringy when I look back on them, but as I was filming like days in my life, I started the business. And so I was like, well, okay, I'm spending a lot of my days doing my business, so I might as well film that as well. And it became part of my vlogs, but then as time went on and I invested more time and energy into my business and it became such a big part of my life and my full-time job, that's what all my content became. So that's really how this channel started in terms of being like a small business channel. It started as a personal channel and just kind of snowballed, and I feel like that's how everything's been. It's just been snowballing, and it's been a gradual process that I am very thankful for. I think it can become extremely overwhelming if you try to dive headfirst and invest a ton of money and just try to make your business big right off the bat. I think it can be a really beautiful thing to watch it grow slowly, and it can be less stressful in some ways. And on that note, I want to kind of talk about if you're working a 9-to-5 and you're trying to start a business. I'm sure that can feel very intimidating, but I also think it should alleviate some stress because you have your income, you're stable from your 9-to-5 job. So it's okay for your business to be small and grow slowly. And not only is it okay, I feel like it's the smart thing to do. You don't want to just quit your job and invest into your business. I mean, anyone can do what they want, but it's going to be harder to grow your business when there's a ton of stress on you to have it financially support you right from the beginning, because it's probably not going to. I didn't start making sustainable income until like 2 to 3 years into running my business. And obviously everyone's journey is different, but that's just my advice with that. And then on TikTok, I found that going live on TikTok has been really great to help sell my manufactured goods, which are my keychains. I sell dog and cat keychains that I design, and I'm able to go live and show them, and people request the breeds they want to see, and then I direct them to the link in my bio and they're able to shop there. And that's something else that I just kind of fell into. I was already on TikTok posting, but I had never gone live. And I used to go live to show my punch needling. So I was live one day last year, I think it was April, and I was punch needling. And I think I just started talking about my keychains. And I was like, you know what? Let me go show you them. And they're stored nicely in all these bins. And so I was just pulling bins out and showing some of the keychains. And that's when people started requesting different breeds. So the idea of going live and showing the keychains as people request breeds they want to see was not my own idea. I mean, I guess it kind of was, but I was just showing the keychains and then people started requesting, and it just like worked out. And so I've been going live on TikTok since then, and it's been really great. It's been really successful. It wasn't something I sat down and really thought, how can I sell my keychains? It just kind of happened. And I think that's a lesson to be learned, is things will just kind of happen. You don't have to sit down and overthink everything. Just kind of go with the flow. And now I want to talk a little bit more about my products and how I've developed my products. So in 2024, that was the first year that my business hit 6 figures. And I can say with confidence that would not have happened if I was only selling handmade goods. And the reason that is because handmade goods take a lot of time to make, and they're at a price point that some people are willing to pay, others are not willing to pay. And for that reason, I just wouldn't have had the time to pump out the quantity of goods I would have needed to hit 6 figures. So if you want to have a strictly handmade business, all power to you. Obviously that's your choice. But in my opinion, it's great to have some manufactured goods, or at least goods that take less time to make, so that you're able to scale your business and grow your revenue. So I started with the handmade stickers, and from there I added punch needle, which seems random, but I saw some people punch needling online and I thought it was so cute. I really liked the art of it and I wanted to learn. So I learned how to punch needle, I started selling the goods, and throughout selling the goods and promoting punch needle through TikTok videos, Instagram videos, I saw a big interest of other people who wanted to learn. So I took that information and I made DIY punch needle kits, and I feel like that was a wise decision because I already knew the interest was there before putting time into the product. Obviously there's going to be products that you want to test out to see if the interest is there, but it's great to take something your customers are telling you they want and make a product for them, if you're also passionate about that product, of course. So the punch needle kits have been really great and they're still doing really well. So that's a decision I'm very glad I made and decided to make the punch needle kits. I still sell my punch needle goods, but I think at this point they're one of my lowest selling goods, and I'm very okay with that because they take so long to make. And then I have some other products that really support me financially. So when I was doing custom stickers, I would also do custom stickers of people's pets. And so I did a lot of dog custom stickers, and I started selling someone's custom sticker. It was a German Shepherd, and I was like, this is really cute. I should add other breeds. So I started adding other dog breeds, and then at markets people were like, where are the cats? So I started adding cat breeds, and I saw how popular they were at markets. And so it got me thinking, okay, what can I make with my cat and dog designs that will take less time to make and can have a higher profit margin? Because obviously stickers aren't a high ticket item. So I decided to get keychains manufactured, and those were popular right off the bat. I obviously don't have to do any work with those. I design the design once and then I can get them manufactured forever. And I have a higher profit margin on my keychains than I do my stickers. And that's been the greatest decision so far for my business, was to make those keychains, because that's my top selling product, and it accounted for over half of the number of items we sold last year. So we sold over 13,000 items last year, and about 9,000 of those items were keychains. So that's been really good. And it was another thing that I didn't plan on doing from the start of my business. It just got to that point. And so I think that's something to keep in mind too, is whatever product you start with, you don't have to only sell that product forever. I definitely didn't think I was only going to sell stickers forever, but I thought that was a good place to start. Investing into the materials I needed to make stickers was very low. I just needed sticker paper, a printer, ink, and a pair of scissors, and then eventually I got the Cricut. And as your business grows, you'll be able to start making decisions that can benefit and scale your business even further. So at this point, I'm gonna switch from making my stickers handmade, which I've been doing for 4 years, to outsourcing and getting those manufactured because they're at a point where I'm selling enough of them where that makes sense to do so. So again, there's no reason that you need to rush into getting things manufactured right away or trying to scale before you've even begun. It's okay to start small. Everyone starts somewhere, and trust me, you'll get there. If you put the time and energy into your business, it's going to grow and it will pay off. And again, everyone's journey is different. It could take 1 year, it could take 10 years, but I promise if the heart is there and you're putting in the work, you're gonna see it pay off eventually. And so once I had my keychains and my DIY punch needle kits, the DIY punch needle kits, I also have always been assembling those by myself. Maybe one day I'll get them manufactured, but that is technically a handmade good, but it doesn't take as long as a punch needle, like an actual punch needle item to make. So now we have less time consuming goods that I'm selling in high volumes. So that's allowed me to scale back on selling the punch needle handmade goods. And I also have raised the prices of my punch needle goods because I want to sell less of them. So that's kind of how the journey of my products went. And the last thing I want to touch on is taxes. As bad as it sounds, that's something else that Sean and I, we just winged it. We really did. We tried not to. We tried to do everything perfectly, but it was not as straightforward as we thought, as I'm sure many of you have also come to realize. If you have a small business and you've done your taxes, there's a lot of confusing jargon and just questions I'm sure you want answers to. And I think taxes and finances in general can scare a lot of people because it's self-reported. And yes, again, there's a lot of resources out there to help you, but at the end of the day, you're being relied on to correctly put in the information, track your expenses throughout the year, keep reports, and do all of it yourself unless you hire an accountant. And even then, you need to be tracking expenses. And I think a lot of people don't know where to start. Like, what do they need to track? What do they need to have? To be honest, from the beginning, we were just tracking expenses. And I think it's important to just do whatever you feel comfortable with, whatever method you think is gonna work for you. I was just using an Excel spreadsheet and inputting the expenses into there. We use Intuit QuickBooks right now, and that's been really great. I keep my receipts digitally in a folder on my desktop, and we track everything through QuickBooks, but for the longest time I was using Excel to track expenses. And I'm no tax professional. Obviously consult with a professional if you have questions and you want professional advice. But I also want to stress the importance of keeping your business finances separate from your personal finances. When you start a business, that should be the first thing you do, is open a business account. And again, it's not anything scary or crazy, just open an account. You can have a debit card with it, a credit card with it. And whenever you buy something for your business, take from that account. Whenever you make a sale or make money from your business, put it into that account. That is key to when it's tax time and you need to see what your expenses were and prove that an expense was a business expense. So like I said, you should be tracking your expenses every time you buy something. But if you were to get audited, you have proof that the transaction went through your business account. So it's just very important. Very smart. It is like more than advised to keep those finances separate. Like if you talk to anyone, any professional, they're gonna say you need 2 different accounts for your personal and your business. And when it comes to anything I've talked about, a big takeaway I want you to get is that not everything has to be perfect when you're starting out, because I think that's what stops some people from actually trying and going for it, is the idea that it has to be perfect, and it really doesn't. There is nothing perfect about the way I started out with markets, with social media, with the stickers. I think you should just run with the passion and the fun you have behind your product and your service, and it's okay to have that being the driving factor. I think it's great to have that being the driving factor. A lot of people take their hobbies and that's how they start their small business. And personally, I don't think a business can really thrive if there's not passion behind the products and the services and everything that's part of the business. And I know that the business side of it is what most people don't like, but I promise you'll figure it out. There are people that you can talk to. There's professionals that you can talk to. And if it's a money thing, there are also a lot of free resources out there. Obviously, you have YouTube, and there's different resources online. But something specifically I want to talk about is something that we took advantage of. So we're in New Hampshire, and we actually spoke with an advisor and an accountant that was part of the US Small Business Administration. And I think that every state in the US has people that you can talk to that are part of the Small Business Association, and they offer free guidance to small businesses. So talking to the accountant was very helpful. She isn't our accountant, we've since gotten an accountant, but she was an accountant that we could talk to and get questions answered. So that's something else you should definitely look into if you're just kind of looking around to find answers to questions you have. And like I said, I think every state has people who are part of the US Small Business Association that you can talk to. So hopefully that is helpful if you've really been struggling to get answers to some questions. But with all of that said, that is my story, how I've kind of grown my business. I hope you can pull pieces from that. Maybe it helps you feel a little more relieved, because I'm telling you, there was no business plan when I was starting out, but there's strategies that I've developed that I continue to follow because they've worked for me. So far, so good. I mean, I didn't really overthink anything. I've kind of just rolled with the punches, gone with what has been working in terms of products, strategies. But whether you're thinking about starting a small business or you already have one, I wish you the best. Feel free to leave some questions in the comments if you have any, and I will try to help out the best I can. And if behind the scenes videos, running a business is something you're interested in, feel free to subscribe to this channel, and I hope to see you in my next video.